interesting.
I mean, Elon, if you could take a submarine to Europa and we see pictures of this thing being devoured by a squid,
Yeah,
that would honestly be the happiest moment of my life.
Pretty wild, yeah.
That would be. What other possibilities are out there? Like, 'cause it feels like if you're going to create 1,000 of these things, they can only fly to Mars every 2 years. What are they doing the rest of the time? It feels like there's this
Right.
explosion of possibility that I don't think people are really thinking about.
I mean, I don't know. We've certainly got a long way to go. As you alluded to earlier, we still have to get to orbit. And then after we get to orbit, we have to really prove out and refine full and rapid reusability. That'll take a moment. But I do think we will solve this. I'm highly confident we will solve this at this point.
Do you ever wake up with the fear that there's going to be this Hindenburg moment for SpaceX where...
We've had many Hindenburg. Well, we've never had Hindenburg moments with people,
Right.
which is very important. Big difference.
Right, there is.
We've blown up quite a few rockets. So there's a whole compilation online that we've put together and others put together, showing rockets are hard.
Yeah.
I mean, the sheer amount of energy going through a rocket it boggles the mind. So,
Yeah.
you know, getting out of Earth's gravity well is difficult. We have a strong gravity and a thick atmosphere, and Mars, which is less than 40% of it's like I think 37% of Earth's gravity, and has a thin atmosphere. The ship alone can go all the way from the surface of Mars to the surface of Earth, whereas getting to Mars requires a giant booster and orbital refilling.
So, Elon, so think more about this incredible array of things that you're involved with. I keep seeing these synergies, to use a horrible word, between them. You know, for example, the robots you're building from Tesla could possibly be pretty handy on Mars,
Sure.
doing some of the dangerous work and so forth. I mean, maybe there's a scenario where your city on Mars doesn't need 1 million people, it needs 500,000 people and 500,000 robots.
Sure.
And that's a possibility. Maybe the Boring Company could play a role helping create some of those subterranean dwelling spaces that you might...
Yeah.
Back on planet Earth, it seems like a partnership between Boring Company and Tesla could offer an unbelievable deal to a city to say, we will create for you a 3D network of tunnels populated by robotaxis
Yeah.
that will offer fast, low-cost transport to anyone. You know, full self-driving may or may not be done this year, and in some cities, like somewhere like Mumbai, I suspect won't be done for a decade.
Some
It's
places
just,
are more
hard.
challenging than others.
But
Yes.
today, with what you've got, you could put 3D network of tunnels under there.
Oh, if it's just in a tunnel, that's a solve.
Exactly, full self-driving is itself problem. So to me, there's amazing synergy with Starship. You know, Gwynne Shotwell talked about by 2028 having from city to city, you know, transport on planet
Yeah,
Earth.
this is a real possibility. The fastest way to get from one place to another, if it's a long distance, is a rocket. It's
Right.
it's basically an ICBM,
Right.
with the
But it has to
bad
land
landing, delete the nuke.
because it's an ICBM. It has to land probably offshore.
Yes, it's good loud.
Because it's loud. So why not have a tunnel that then connects to the city
Yeah,
with
that'd be cool.
Tesla?
Sure.
And Neuralink. I mean, if you're going to go to Mars, having a telepathic connection with loved ones back home, even if there's a time delay. I mean,
if these are not intended to be connected, by the way, they're just. But there certainly could be some synergies. Yeah.
surely there is a growing argument that you should actually put all these things together into one company and just have a company devoted to creating a future that's exciting and let 1,000 flowers bloom. Have you been thinking about that?
I mean, it is tricky because Tesla is a publicly traded company, and the investor base of Tesla and SpaceX and certainly Boring Company and Neuralink are quite different. And Boring Company and Neuralink are tiny companies. Just
Right.
I
By
think
comparison.
the audience may yeah. Tesla's got 110,000 people. SpaceX, I think, is around 12,000 people. Boring Company and Neuralink are both under 200 people. So they're little tiny companies, but they will probably get bigger in the future. They will get bigger. It's not that easy to sort of combine these things.
Do Traditionally, you've said that for SpaceX especially, you wouldn't want it public because public investors wouldn't support the craziness of the idea of going to Mars or whatever, and
Yeah.
you want to,
Making life multiplanetary is outside of the normal time horizon of Wall Street
Right.
analysts,
But
to say the least.
I think something's changed, though. What's changed is that Tesla is now so powerful and so big and throws off so much cash that you actually could connect the dots here. Just tell the public that X billion dollars a year, whatever your number is, will be diverted to the Mars mission. I suspect you'd have massive interest in that company, and it might unlock a lot more possibility for you, no?
I mean, I would like to give the public access to ownership of SpaceX, but I mean, the thing that, like the overhead associated with a public company is high. So, I mean, as a public company, you're just constantly sued. It does occupy like a fair bit of, time and effort to deal with these things.
Right. But you would still only have one public company. It would be bigger and have more things going on. But instead of being on 4 boards, you'd be on 1.
I'm actually not even on the Neuralink or Boring Company boards.
Oh well. Okay.
Yeah, and I don't really attend the SpaceX board meetings. We only have 2 a year, and I just stop by and chat for an hour. The board overhead for a public company is much higher.
Right. I think some investors probably worry about how your time is being split, and they might be excited by, that's anyway. I just woke up the other day thinking just there are so many ways in which these things connect, and the simplicity of that mission of building a future that is worth getting excited about might appeal to an awful lot of people. Elon, you are reported by Forbes and everyone else as now the world's richest person.
That's not a sovereign. I think it's fair to say that if somebody is like the king or de facto king of a country, they're wealthier than I am.
So, but it's just harder to measure. But what people do, so $300 billion, I mean, your net worth on any given day is rising or falling by
Yeah.
several $billion. How insane, how insane
it's
is that?
bonkers, yeah.
I mean, how do you handle that psychologically? There aren't many people in the world who have to even think about that.
I actually don't think about that too much, but the thing that is actually more difficult, and that does make sleeping difficult, is that every good hour or even minute of thinking about Tesla and SpaceX has such a big effect on the company that I really try to work as much as possible, to the edge of sanity, basically, because Tesla's getting to the point where, probably will get to the point later this year, where every high quality minute of thinking is $1 million to impact on Tesla. So, which is insane. I mean, the basic, if Tesla's doing, of a sort of $2 billion a week, let's say, in revenue, it's sort of $300 million a day, 7 days a week. It's.
If you can change that by 5% in an hour's brainstorm, those are
Yeah.
pretty valuable. That's a pretty valuable hour.
I mean, there are many instances where a half hour, I was able to improve the financial outcome of the company by $100 million in a half hour.
There are many other people out there who can't stand this world of billionaires. Like they are hugely offended by the notion that an individual can have the same wealth as say, a billion or more of the world's poorest people.
If they examine I think there's some axiomatic flaws that are leading to them to that conclusion. If for sure, it would be very problematic if I was consuming, billions of dollars a year but that is not the case. In fact, I don't even own a home right now. I'm literally staying at friends' places. If I travel to the Bay Area, where most of Tesla engineering is, I stay I basically rotate through friends' spare bedrooms. I don't have a yacht. I really don't take vacations. It's not as though there's that my personal consumption is high. The one exception is a plane. But if I don't use the plane, then I have less hours to work. So,
I mean, I personally think you have shown that you are mostly driven by really quite a deep sense of moral purpose. Like you've tried your attempts to solve the climate problem have been as powerful as anyone else on the planet that I'm aware of. And I actually can't understand, personally, I can't understand the fact that you get all this criticism from the left about, oh my God, he's so rich, that's disgusting. When climate is their issue, philanthropy is a topic that some people go to. Philanthropy is a hard topic. Like how do you think about that?
I think if you care about the reality of goodness instead of the perception of it, philanthropy is extremely difficult. SpaceX, Tesla, Neuralink, and Boring Company are philanthropy. If you say philanthropy is love of humanity, they are philanthropy. Tesla is accelerating sustainable energy. This is a love of philanthropy.
Right.
SpaceX is trying to ensure the long-term survival of humanity with multi-planet species. This is love of humanity. Neuralink is to help solve brain injuries and existential risk with AI, love of humanity. Boring Company is trying to solve traffic, which is hell for most people, and that also is love of humanity.
It's like, how upsetting is it to you to hear this constant drumbeat of billionaires, my God, Elon Musk, oh my God? Like, is that, do you just shrug that off, or does it actually hurt?
I mean, at this point, it's water off a duck's back.
I'd like to, as we wrap up now, just pull the camera back and just think, you're a father now of 7 surviving kids, and
well, I'm trying to set a good example, because the birth rate on Earth is so low that we're facing civilizational collapse unless the birth rate returns to a sustainable level.
Yeah, you've talked about this a lot, that depopulation is a problem, and
yes.
People don't understand
population
how big
collapse is one of the biggest threats to the future of human civilization, and that is what is going on right now.
Drives you on a day-to-day basis to do what you do?
I guess I really want to make sure that there is a good future for humanity, and that we're on a path to understanding the nature of the universe, the meaning of life, why are we here, how do we get here, and in order to understand the nature of the universe and all these fundamental questions, we must expand the scope and scale of consciousness. Certainly, it must not diminish or go out. We certainly won't understand this. So I would say I'm motivated by curiosity more than anything, and just a desire to think about the future and not be sad, And
are you not sad?
I'm sometimes sad, but mostly I'm feeling, I guess, relatively optimistic about the future these days. There are certainly some big risks that humanity faces. I think the population collapse is a really big deal that I wish more people would think about, because the birth rate is far below what's needed to sustain civilization at its current level, there's obviously we need to take action on climate sustainability, which is being done. And we need to secure the future of consciousness by being a multi-planet species. We need to address it's important to take whatever actions we can think of to address the existential risks that affect the future of consciousness.
There's a whole generation coming through who seem really sad about the future. What would you say to them?
Well, I think if you want the future to be good, you must make it so. Take action to make it good, and it will be.
Elon, thank you for all this time. That is a beautiful place to end. Thanks for all that you're doing.